Alright guys, so I was just browsing Twitter as you do, and I saw that FGO's, NA side of things made this tweet talking about the Water Monster Crisis event that's going to be coming out, which, I know a whole lot of people don't really care about. There's some nice little things that come out with that event. I mean, if you like using Wu Zetian as kind of like a quick buffer that's not Scotty, then I guess she gets a little bit better with the buff during that event, and Morgan does get a rate-up that comes out right after that. But one thing that I thought was interesting is that I looked at it, took a little bit more of a deeper glance at this, and I saw that this little Twitter campaign ends on the 28th, and that kind of got me thinking, is FGO NA slightly picking up the pace a little bit? Because something that has been going around in the community and something that I have been talking about and I've been getting more and more comments on is the idea of getting the NA version maybe about a year behind the JP version, as opposed to it being, 2 years behind. Because let's be honest, whatever cool servants come out for the whole ID event that we're getting over on JP4 or Deal Call 2, whatever comes out, they could be the most busted servant you've ever seen. They could be the coolest husbando, the cutest waifu. We can all agree universally they're more broken than Castoria, smashed together with Oberon. Doesn't matter, because we're not going to see them. We can't get our grubby little mitts on them for 2 whole years. And that really does kind of kill a lot of the hype in a unit when they come out. When Scotty first came out on JP, it felt really bad playing on NA because we were still doing like hard battery farming instead of doing the smooth, quick farming. Or, Castoria comes out as people are kind of struggling through the Scotty meta. You either have her or you don't have her. And then it's like, oh, cool, Castoria can be an alternate version of this meta with, arts units. But it's still going to be 2 years before that comes out. It's just a bit ridiculous. Or say you're someone like me, you really like Morgan, you gotta wait 2 years for her to come out before you can actually summon for her, and that can definitely ruin a lot of the hype for some of the units. And so it looks as though, and this happens maybe once or twice a year, where the FGO NA version of the game starts to kind of speed things up. And as we saw with, Battle in New York 2024, this came out right after the White Day event, which, to be fair, it already did on the JP version of the game, but they could kind of keep following this up by somewhat chaining these events together, by having them, not really have these down periods. As we kind of see with JP right now, it looks like they might be doing something similar, where you have these 3-week-long events with the first 2 weeks more or less being there for you to clear out the event, and the third week is, okay, if you actually have a real job, you got a life, you got stuff you got to do, you can't dedicate, 24/7 to farming the event. It's for those people and a little bit of a grace period between the current event ending and the next event starting, which looks like we might be getting that with the Ordeal Call thing, because it's dropping in the middle of the current White Day event over on JP. It's dropping on the 3rd week, I believe. It should be dropping actually in like 2 days from now, as far as when this video is going out. And so that event is coming to a close, and then they're just going to go ahead and drop, new content functionally in another event, which seems as though they want to speed things along. Because, normally we complain about FGO dragging their heels in the dirt, not just basically refusing to put anything out. And my best guess so far is that it's staffing issues. They just don't have enough people. There is a pretty popular interview out there where Tucson, the guy that always comes out for the live stream to announce the new servants, a guy that does most of their YouTube videos for announcements, that dude came out and said, if we wanted to put out, good, consistent content at a more rapid pace, we would probably need to double our staff. So I've always taken it as a staffing issue, and I wonder if this is an indication that they're getting more staff. Now, obviously, that could be for the JP version of the game. Maybe it doesn't translate entirely to the NA version. But if this event is going to say drop, because, originally, you guys see this was like an April event. If they're going to drop it right after this event goes down, that's some good, steady progress. Because the 28th, it's not quite the end of the month. There's still a good 3 days after. March has 31 days in it, go figure. But if they drop it at that point, that could be kind of nice. They could be speeding things along very slowly yet surely. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have noticed, but the days where we usually get content, where it was like, oh, for the NA version, it was like Mondays, and for the JP versions, it was Wednesday, things are getting a little bit more sporadic and weird. This event ends on a Thursday, right? So they'd be bringing this event on a Thursday, which is weird. They just kind of seem to be dropping things with less of a schedule, which if they're speeding things up along, they're going to try to get us a little bit more caught up. I say, by all means, I'll sacrifice having a normal sleep schedule, just being up till 5 a.m. every single day, being like, they drop something, they're trying to catch me off guard. I'd rather do that, and then the game starts moving in a good, healthy direction with like a decent flow of content that just doesn't have these dead periods. Because I know we have some people in the audience that are like, well, I like the dead periods. It lets me kind of do the events at a very slow and steady pace, right? Like, that's fine, but a lot of people, especially guys that are coming out to watch, say, YouTube content for a game, are a bit more on the quote-unquote hardcore side. They probably want more things to be able to do. So I do like this idea. I think this does look very promising, but this has happened too many times to me before over the last 2 years to kind of get my hopes too far up. But I did want to put this video out and kind of like if they have been keeping things very nice in the last couple of months, I want to have this video over here being like, all right, look, see, I did put it out there that I thought it looked like they were doing this, and I want to be able to be like, yeah, I was right. But then if I'm wrong, then I might have to sneaky take this video down. Can't have the wrong takes being out there. But I don't know, it's just something we've been looking into on stream as well. We were looking into the original release chapters, and the first 6 months of FGO for quote-unquote year one in 2015, we got like 5 story chapters, and then we got another 3. We got, Camelot, then Babylonia, and then Solomon. 3 major story chapters that were of a much higher quality than the original 5 in 1 year. Then we got all of Epic of Remnant in 1 year. Can you believe that? We got all of Epic of Remnant in a year. That includes Seraph as a side story event. That's crazy. And then we got what? Not Ordeal Call, but Lost Build 1 and 2 plus a major story event. And I think it was Oku during year 3, I want to say. That's really crazy. That's like really, no, it wasn't Oku, but it was something else. And somebody in the comments will let me know what it is. But we're still getting like a good, decent 2 chapters a year, right? Which is like really, really nice. But then I think it starts to slow down when we start doing like 5.1 and 5.2. You start splitting the stories into pieces. I think for the Avalon year, when Morgan Castoria, I think that was the only story chapter we got that year. I'm trying to remember because we went through all of them, and I wish I wrote it down for like maybe a video or something. But you know what I'm saying? Like, the game definitely has been considerably slowing down, which is a little sad to see as someone who's pretty much been playing from the beginning almost. So, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below on that one. I would like to hear from you guys, my bad. If you guys think this is maybe a good sign, or maybe it's just going to be a little bit of the same. Because again, beginning of the year was still fairly slow, but they have been dealing out content on the JP version with some level of consistency. It's not the content that we want. I know Andromeda's not the most popular, and Charlemagne's costume wasn't hitting with everybody, but they have been putting out stuff over there, and if they're trying to speed up the NA version as well, I would be more than happy with that. Because look, I know there's some people that don't want us to go full Korea server where they were just blitzing through content, but there's got to be a happy medium between the Korean server blitzing through everything and then the NA server being really, really far behind. And there's essentially not even a reason to look forward to new content, because you're like, that's going to be 2 years, man. I might get a promotion in my job before this next story or this next servant does come out. Not story chapter. Well, technically even story chapters as well. So again, would love to hear guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Let me know if I'm a crazy person, and we'll be back to normal guides and everything in the next couple of days. I'll make a new guide for the next lot under that drops, and I'll be clearing all the fights, all that good stuff, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, you guys have yourselves a nice rest of your day. Peace.